answer is like they've got a really good stout, and I hope they build off of that and like take what the keynotes are on that and then move it to the other beers, because some of them are just it's in that experimental phase is what I call it.
Yeah. And that's how we started too. I mean, we did a lot of different stuff when we first started. And we've been good. Let's focus on 6. So we have our 6. And then we'll do kind of the one-off Christmas sales.
I feel so
fun. But it'll be small batch versus trying to do the big batch stuff.
Well, one of the things that I always tell people, I was like, there's a difference between a small brewery and a micro brewery. And I bring up your place every single time. And I say if you go to Grizzly Bird, like there's more flavor because it's not such a big system, and a lot of brewers lose that consistency the bigger they go.
But we lose the consistency from batch to batch.
Yeah.
Which is the Dude, while it's one of our flagships, it's the flagship, but one of our 6, it's hard for us on a small batch system to replicate that every time. There's going to be a little bit of difference every time, which is fun for somebody like me, but for somebody who, falls in love with Dude Batch 1, and then they come in for Dude Batch 3, and they're like, oh, it's good, but it's not what I remember it. So there's kind of that, big batch versus small batch.
I always call it the Elvis juice factor. When Elvis juice first started, it was amazing, and now it just tastes like blood oranges
It was mass produced now.
Yeah.
I think they were still trying to figure it out.
Well, they told us that they were cutting the end of the brew with blood orange. So like after it would be brewed and it would boil out or bubble out and everything, they put it in the bright tank with half of blood orange.
Oh yeah, well half of the breweries that do the New England IPAs, the super rich orange juicy, it's orange juice.
Yeah.
They just cut it with orange juice.
And you're kind of like, that kind of defeats the purpose of brewing, guys.
That seems lame.
It does, but then it doesn't because, I mean, if people like it, who cares?
That's true, too.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you like this New England IPA because it's super juicy and super citrusy, as long as the ABV's right and the IBUs are right.
But then there's like places like Zavtiv, like the Hazy Miss Daisy. It gets better every time.
I agree.
There's just something weird about that one. Like you can't remember the first one to compare it to the last one.
And it could be part of it is, they're reharvesting their yeast. Mm-hmm. So each time their yeast is giving off those additional flavors from the first time.
Can we have an autograph? Hold on, wait. We're live right now, ladies. So let me see this right now.
That's our.
Look at this calendar.
That is our honor sleeves.
Hold it.
Fundraiser.
Let's get the front of it.
The Men of Grizzly Bird.
Yeah, there we go.
The proceeds go to on our sleeves.
That is so cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know, he spent like a week before that calendar came out practicing that signature. It was just so Hollywood.
I should have signed Easter. That's the better. Easter is the better. Although I do love the Step Brothers with Brian and I.
You can sign on.
That's Brian right there. No, thank you so much for buying the calendar. That's awesome. Okay. So the proceeds go to On Our Sleeves. So we do a big fundraiser every November during the Ohio State-Michigan game. So it's Kegs and Eggs, which is, done everywhere. But ours, we do the fundraiser all day for Nationwide Children's Hospital On Our Sleeves, which is adolescent mental health awareness. So that's like that's our charity. So we do that. Those proceeds help us to start to build the nest egg for getting ready for the Kegs and Eggs event. So thank you so much for buying fun.
Thank you for signing that.
That is fantastic. That is
All right.
fantastic.
Let me
Thank
have
you.
this.
Wait. Stop.
Oh my gosh. That was the weirdest. You know what the weirdest part about that was? Is my daughter was here during the photo shoot. No, she didn't.
There.
Yeah, we're still lagging.
Well, there's always a lag.
Oh yeah,
Now
we're
we're
live
looking at the
there.
table.
All right.
Yeah, it's about a 3-second lag now.
All right.
Don't put it in the middle there.
All right.
No. Oh wait, we're good. It has a slight delay.
All right.
All right, everybody, welcome to Free Your Mind Friday. A little bit of technical difficulties, but guess what?
Don't yell.
We got it.
We're clipping.
Put this down a little bit lower and look a little goofy for a minute. You gotta realize if it's on normal, you may
Right.
not be able to hear me.
Yeah, well, no, I got you. I think.
Here's some questions I want to ask.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right, let's get started.
All right, welcome to Free Your Mind Friday for the Ride of Spirits. We have owner Walt here from Grizzly Bird. Yes, you heard that right. You're at Grizzly Bird Brewing Co. here in Westerville, Ohio. If you've never been, I suggest trying it out. They have different varieties of beers, seltzers, ciders. Do you have wine?
We do have one. We have a full bar. And we're really proud of our bourbon selection. So, but yes, we offer a little bit of everything, even domestics. I know it's sometimes not normal in breweries to offer domestics, but because of our large event space, we offer everything.
All right, so you heard it, guys, straight from the owner's mouth. We got domestics. Go to our brewery. Who drinks a domestic? But, I mean, I get it. You got to come.
Uncle Joe, Grandpa Jim. You never know when you're doing your wedding rehearsal or first birthday party or 50th birthday party or retirement party. We get a lot of different groups in the event space, so we want to make sure that we got a little bit of something for everybody, which includes domestics.
You're a little disappointed in that. I get it. I feel it. So
It hurts my heart a little bit.
Right above me is their logo, Grizzly Bird Brewing Co. Down. So this place is, you have a private room over there for events.
Mm-hmm.
You have your main room here.
Yep.
You got a little private area with your pinball over
Game
there.
room. Yep.
And then you got the bar.
Yes.
I have to ask, with the laws put in place, is it making it difficult for you to get your supplies to?
Not yet. But I really feel like at some point it's gonna hurt us some. But again, we brew on such a small scale that a lot of the stuff we get isn't necessarily going to be attached to a tariff or something like that. Obviously, cans have been tough, and they continue. I imagine they're going to continue to be tough to get. But because we don't distribute, because everything's kind of in-house, it hasn't impacted us as much as some of the bigger breweries around town.
Okay. All right. And as you say, around town, how does Grizzly Bird and the community come together?
So as far as other breweries or just the community in a whole, like Westerville?
Just the community.
So, I mean, honestly, the community. We host Westerville schools, the high school sports banquets. We host in our event space. Obviously, free of charge for them to come in and do it, but it gives them a place to kind of come hang out than hanging out in the school cafeteria or the library or wherever, When I was a kid, we had to do them, at the school. Now this gives them a place to, come hang out, make it a little bit more of a banquet, a little bit less of a school function. We do Peloton, we do MS fundraisers. Earlier with the calendar, we talked about on our sleeves. with Nationwide Children's Hospital Foundation. So we do a large fundraiser every Ohio State Michigan game. We're raising funds, last year, 17 grand on a Saturday. You know, just hanging out and drinking beer and serving breakfast. And, you know, we had, you know, silent auction stuff, but yeah, we just try to, there hasn't been a fundraiser that I think we've turned down. Like, we love being part of the community. We're kid friendly, because you can't be part of the community if you don't include, you know, with the kids and the dogs.
Right.
And honestly, dogs are great because you meet some of the cutest dogs in here. It's just, it's fantastic.
We did bring our dog Bo in here one time.
Okay.
Or a couple times. He's an Australian Shepherd.
We've done multiple. Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, he's the type of dog that you can drop the leash and he's right there next to you. And when you leave, he's following you. And, you know, he's a herding dog.
He's
so
great.
that's what he wants to do.
We don't always get those in here, but for the most part, yeah, the owners are very responsible. We've done 2 adoption events, and the first one we had 6 dogs adopted. The second one we had 10. So, you know, that's kind of like, for us, that's really cool. Like, to think we've given 16 dogs their forever homes.
That is
So,
great. Oh my gosh.
yeah, so we do those twice a year. So yeah, just honestly, it's, you come to us with a fundraiser. We have a Colitis fundraiser next week, a wine tasting for the Colitis Foundation. So it's really, you come to us with a charity, we're gonna help out any way we can.
So I have a question.
Well, I was going to say, when I contacted you on Monday, like, hey, can we do a live stream? You're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Let me know what you need. Blah, blah, blah. You were not hesitant. You were on it.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, wow, that's the quickest we've ever gotten a response. Like, it wasn't even, it might have been like less than 8 hours, to be honest. I think you were within less than 8 hours.
We are very family owned.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's 2 owners, myself and Brian. I do a lot of the business operations. My wife is our accountant. Lisa is our food liaison, and Brian is, we call him the mayor because he is the guy who walks around, shakes hands and kisses babies, and he loves it. He's uber extrovert.
Yeah.
Like, there's extrovert and then there's Brian. But yeah. But we've always, you know, tried to be as open as transparent, and, you know, we love doing stuff like this. You know, anything that gets the word out about us and the stuff that we're doing in the community, all for it.
That's awesome. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Buzz Tower, which is our Imperial Juicy. It's a 9.1, but not super hoppy. So you get the citrusy notes, but it's really smooth for a 9.1. So it's my favorite. Buzz the Tower is our West Coast, which is our original flagship. We've had it since we were at Galena Brewing Company in Johnstown. You know,
Now, with you saying Galena, what happened from Galena to Grizzly Bird? Where did the name change?
So we're still Galena Brewing Company LLC. Galena Brewing Company obviously started in my basement. I lived in Galena. We grew it into something that we felt good about the beer enough that we wanted to try the business side of it. So we got a small place in Johnstown. It was an old frozen yogurt shop. It was 900 square feet.
We actually have been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's why I was like, oh, you used to be Galena.
Yes.
In a real tiny space, and now you're Grizzly.
Believe it or
Bird in
not,
a
you've
bigger
answered
space.
these questions like 5 or 6 years ago. You just forgot.
For Galena, so for Galena to be in Johnstown was really confusing, right? But we wanted to find someplace that we could get a short lease that we could afford with our regular incomes without the business. You know, whether it succeeded or failed, it wouldn't kill us, you know. And we could see if we liked the business side of brewing. You know, we knew we loved the community side of brewing. That's what we did. My wife and I would go to breweries every weekend. We'd go up to Michigan. We'd go to, Indiana. We would try breweries all the time. So we love that community feel. The fact that you come in there strangers, but you have 3 or 4 different conversations with strangers, while you're there because everybody's just friendly.
Is it
And want to hang out.
Hometown feeling.
is it odd that like breweries and bars are a completely different vibe?
I don't think so. I think it's by design. I think bars, and I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed some bars growing up. But at some point, I think you outgrow a bar.
You did?
You know, you you want to go someplace that's relaxed, someplace that you can have conversations, but you don't have to worry about
Screaming.
all the things that sometimes come with a bar. Not open till midnight. We close at 10. Nothing good happens at a bar after midnight. Just my opinion,
That's true.
right?
100%.
So we don't have to deal with that stuff. We're family oriented, which bars, aren't.
Yeah.
And I think there's, certain things that go into, the guys head out to the bar, the girls head out to the bar. You're looking to have a party. You're looking to have, a great time. You head to the brewery, you're just looking to unwind, wash off the week, and hang out
And
with.
free your mind on a Friday.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
our
there you
segment
go.
titled Free Your Mind
There you
Friday.
go. That's exactly it. I mean, so I think that, we're different by design. We can't do what bars do, bars can't do what we do. So, we fill the gap for each other.
The only thing you're missing is that bar food.
We're working on it. We're working on it. Did you have the smash burger tonight?
No,
Oh.
do you have food truck?
We actually got started late.
We have our food license.
Oh.
And we do bar apps. So we do a lot of appetizers and stuff because we have what's known as an auto fryer. So it's a self-contained fryer, but it's got the fire suppression and the ventilation built in, so you don't have to have a large vent. And then we've got our other equipment's electric. So we don't have gas, we don't have fire, we don't have any of those other things. So we're able to do so we have a menu. It's not robust. We're working on building out our kitchen so we can do food every night and actually do food versus, we do wings, mozzarella sticks, poppers, the traditional bar food. But Fridays we have Smash Burger Friday. So Thursday is smoked wing Thursday, and the smoked wings are fantastic. And
Now, with me having a gluten allergy, do you have anything for that? Or is it all cooking? I mean, it's probably all in the same vat.
outside of it is right now.
I'm just going to move this real quick.
Oh,
You're
yep.
clipping really bad.
Sorry,
You're good. You're good.
I'm loud.
No, it's not that you're loud. It's our microphones. We got to get new ones. I just want to touch your boobs. That's
Okay.
really all it is.
I'm okay with that.
Thanks for playing along.
Is that? Let me know if that's better.
Go ahead.
So yeah, we have bar food.
Did you
we,
squeeze his boob before you left?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. You're
Give me
afraid.
we did food trucks before, but unfortunately we didn't have a lot of luck with food trucks. They'd break down, they'd, double book, different things like that, and then we would promote them all week.
We were actually here when your son was here as the bartender of the day.
Yes.
And that's when the food truck actually bailed on you guys. And he was on the phone going, "What do you mean you're at another brewery?" And they're like, "Yeah, we accidentally double booked." So we completely different.
Yeah. So we had to make a decision. And we still do food trucks for bigger events, charities, different things like where we know we're going to be busy, then we'll do a food truck. We do a hibachi hut, which we love. We do On the Fly Pizza Guy, which has been with us since Johnstown. And if you've never had his wood-fired pizza, fantastic. I mean, so yeah, we still do food trucks when we're going to be busy. Tomorrow night we're doing Westerville Central Football Booster Bingo, which usually brings in 80 people for the bingo part. So we know we're going to be slammed tomorrow night. So, we'll have somebody here to help us out with the food. So we're doing our wings. So we've prepped a lot of our wings. And then On the Fly Pizza guy will be here later in the night. He had a previous engagement, so he can't get here till later in the night. But so we'll fill the gap with our wings, and then On the Fly will be here with some pizza.
So when did you expand into that room? What year?
Like what it?
Yeah, when did that become part of this?
Right after COVID. I want to say summer of 2021, when we started to get somewhat back to normal, but there was still some nervousness. People didn't want to be around large crowds. So we actually took on the lease to that space so that we could provide a place where families could get together, where groups could get together that, you feel comfortable around that group to be able to hang out in a larger setting without, the fears of, being a super spreader back then. So that's really kind of what it, capacity is 118 people. We've got a few pinball machines in there, a pool table, but for the most part, it becomes, I can't say who's in there tonight, but they're part of the community. They serve and protect.
You can say that. You're totally fine with saying that.
They may not want me to say that. But they're doing their awards ceremony tonight.
That's cool.
So, literally it's anybody and everybody in that room. I mean, we've hosted full weddings from the ceremony to the reception, where we've lined it up for the ceremony with the bridges, the arches, the seating, and then everybody, 75 people or so, would come out here and do kind of a happy hour in between, reception type, pre-reception, tailgating, I don't know what you call it for the wedding. But then we were able to go in, set the tables up, get the buffet ready, and then they came from out here into there. And I mean, that was phenomenal, being part of somebody's, big day like that. I mean, we've done a ton of rehearsal dinners. You name the birthday, we've hosted it from 1 to 75. And actually our 1-year-old 1 to 3 has been insanely popular in there because the ceiling's so high, we can fit full bounce houses in there.
That's awesome.
So,
Hey, the next time we come,
it'll fit.
the next time we come here, can we do a podcast in the bounce house?
It fits.
That's all I want to do. Look, the big castle.
Yeah, with the No, we can serve you in there too.
In a bouncy house.
But
yeah.
So the I mean, we've hosted cornhole tournaments in there because again, it's big enough. It's ceiling's high enough. I can't think of anything we've said no to in there because the space is just so wide open, and could pretty much accommodate anything.
Yeah, that's
Next
cool.
motorcycle.
Right there. Yeah. Come up to the building.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll just bring him in, park him inside.
we got the garage door.
Aaron, the pappy bagger.
All right. Do you have any fears?
Not ours right now. So we've really focused on the last 8 months to really nailing down our 6 flagships. So we have Frank the Tank Stout. It's a 5.5% stout, so very crushable, drinkable, not real heavy. And we did that intentionally because we wanted a year-round stout.
Is it American?
American. Yep.
Yeah, it's not charcoaly. It's got a nice little malty taste to it.
Not meant to, you can drink it in the summer as well as you can drink it in the winter. We do an anniversary beer in November where we bourbon barrel age our stout.
Lift yours up. They're having a hard time hearing you.
which will definitely get a lot heavier and a lot more ABV.
And I think you have it on the wrong mode. Nope, you're good.
Sorry, everybody.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Technical difficulties of live.
Hey, if you can't roll with that, then
Right.
yeah. So Frank the Tank is our stout. It's just year round. It's not like people aren't going to travel 100 miles to get it, and that's intentional. We wanted something that was very drinkable. Dude IPA is our West Coast IPA. That's going to be our hoppier, more traditional West Coast IPA.
But it's a lot more smoother than a West Coast IPA.
It doesn't have like that strong lingering bite.
It takes you've taken the harshness off of a West Coast IPA. That danky, real dank.
Yeah, and that was
It's clear.
it's a West Coast.
That's a West Coast.
And it's supposed to be.
Yeah, Stone IPA is essentially.
That's good.
See, this is juicy. This is buzz, so it's a little less clear.
And then, of course,
And is that motorboating? Or
Yeah,
is
it's
that
motorboat.
Yeah, so that's motorboating, which is our hazy.
What's wrong with the bottom
So-
of this glass? See, it looks...
No,
It
it's,
looks rounded, but I think it's just the. I don't know. Sit it down. See if it's. Is it wonky?
it's fine.
We'll blame Libby for that. Libby glassware or whatever it is.
Frank the Tank, and then you said the West Coast.
The West Coast is Dude. We have a lager, Stay Golden Pony Boy. So that's our domestic equivalent.
It's nice it's not a golden ale with a name like that.
Yes. Well, so all of our beers have that movie reference to it.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. So we've got Shenanigans, which is our wheat. It's not on currently because we weren't sure if the last of the last batch and the first of the batch that we have now, we thought there may be a gap. So Kylie ordered a wheat beer, I think from working class. So that wheat beer, we're going through that now, and then once we're through that wheat, then Shenanigans will go back on.
So, did you just do domestic beers just to fill the gaps in between brews? Because I remember there used to brew right here.
Yeah.
So, and I understand that, like, what are you, like a quarter barrel system or something like that?
3.5 barrel.
3.5 barrel?
So it's about 110 to 120 gallons per batch.
So is that why the domestics came in to keep up with demand?
Domestics really came in when we got the event space.
Okay.
Again, if I'm doing my wedding here and Grandpa Joe only drinks Miller Lite, I'm not influential enough in Grandpa Joe's life to convince him to try Pony Boy.
Have you ever thought about making a Miller Lite equivalent?
So that's what Pony Boy is for us.
Oh, that's an insult.
Well, it's a craft domestic.
It's an insult because
It's a craft lager.
I love the Stay Golden Pony Boy, and it does get better. Everything that I've had in the past, every time I come here, it gets better.
And I think that's all breweries, right? When you first start out, I mean, there's a few. Like Noctera has been great since day one. Dank House has been great since day one. But a lot of the smaller breweries, we've gotten better as we figure out what we didn't know. We opened up in 2018 in Johnstown, so we've been open almost 7 years. There's a lot of stuff we didn't know in 2018 that we know in 2025.
That's what I feel about Dank House, because like when you said Dank House, Mia was like, yeah, you're right, because the harshness on their IPAs has come off. But their slushies,
Yeah.
their slushies have like gone up in flavor. So it's like they really capitalize on that sour.
They do.
So,
They do. And like for Dank House, it's all about that dankiness.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
it's in the name.
So if you don't like a danky IPA,
Why to go there?
it may not be for you. But then, I'm not a huge danky IPA fan, but I've had their hazies. We've got one on right now. It's not on tap, and we carry the can. And I'm drawing a blank. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it's not super danky. It's more juicy. It's more along that. more citrusy, like orangey, not grapefruity. It doesn't have that bite of a grapefruit, but it's got more of that orange, sweet citrus, I guess. Um, which is something I don't remember them having when they first started up. Um, so, yeah, I think if you look at any of the breweries, small breweries,
Yeah.
we've all grown, we've all learned, and we support each other. I mean, I've reached out. Three Tigers Brewery in Granville. I went to high school.
Oh man, that breakfast stout. It tastes like
That'll
cinnamon
get you,
toast
though.
crunch.
Yes,
It
That'll
just
get
does.
ya.
yeah.
And
You
it
know,
never changes.
So Scott, the owner there, we went to high school together. So I reached out to him and said, hey, I'm seeing this, or I'm seeing that, or So I think with the brewery community, it's different, and it's better for us all to be successful than to have weak links in the chain. Ale Trail is a perfect example of that, right? When I would be brewery hopping with my wife, we'd go to places that had, 3 or 4 breweries in a 5-mile radius, right? So, like Campfire just opened 2 months ago, and people were like, "Well, what do you think about Campfire opening?" And I said, "It's great. It's great, especially for Ale Trail, because now we've got 4 breweries, with Spires, us, Campfire, and then I always forget the name of the one uptown. It's got Twin Pistols.
Oh,
It's in the deli.
yeah.
Oh, Uptown Brewing.
Yes, Uptown Deli, but the brewery.
Yeah.
It's a P or something. Why do? Oh, now I'm embarrassed.
We're gonna look it up.
Oh,
I'll find it. Hold on.
Go to Uptown Deli and Brew.
I am.
Uptown Deli and Brew. It's inside of there. I just looked at this a
yes.
couple days ago.
Is it Temperance Row?
Temperance.
Yeah.
Temperance Row. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's embarrassing.
I
I apologize, Temperance Row.
What's really bad is I can see where they have the
Yes.
speakeasy in the back, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
and you can see their sign with the TER, but yeah, I totally drew a blank.
Temperance started about the same time you guys did that.
They were a couple years before us.
Were they a couple years
Yeah.
before? Okay.
Spires, a couple years after us, almost the same time. Spires, and like when we moved to this location, about the same time as Spires.
Spire Social is a little different. I think it's more uppity.
They pride themselves on being homebrew, and that's
They're
awesome because
Being-
it's homebrew.
Oh yeah,
Because they got all their homebrew.
they're traditional.
Yeah.
Very traditional brewery.
I do like their patio.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Their
You get a
patio's
nice cool night with the fire
There's
and
the water right there you can look at. Oh,
So
it's wonderful.
when we were first thinking about what to do for a YouTube channel, we were at Spires, and the husband and wife, I can't remember their name. They were-
Alex.
Yeah. They came over and they were talking to us about the red ale because it was St. Patty's Day. And they're like, how do you feel about it? And I was like, it's amazing. It's really good. It's like something I would brew myself. And he goes, so you're a home brewer? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, we want to keep that integrity of home brewing. And then he just explained his whole story. And I looked at her, I said, that would be really cool to hear. Like,
Yeah.
That. Him talking about home brewing, that is awesome. And then bringing it into upscale. Because he was the one that first told me when you go to a new system, like a big system,
Oh yeah.
your efficiency goes
Oh.
up, but the taste sometimes can go down or it can get
And
really
it's not
high.
a 1-for-1. It's not, hey, I'm brewing on a 5-gallon system. Now I'm going to go to a 20-gallon system. You can't go from a 5 to a 20 and just say, I'm going to multiply everything by 4. Right? It doesn't work that way.
We were just at Hoster. The Hoster brewer just said that last Friday. He was like, yeah, it's not one for one. You're screwed.
Yeah, you've got to dial in the system. You've got to figure out, again, the efficiencies play a big part of that, right? If I was getting 68% efficiency on my 5-gallon system, and all of a sudden I go up to 73. It doesn't seem like a big jump, but that 5% efficiency, I mean, that's going to bring in a lot of malty, a lot of your adjunct grains. I mean, the flavor is going to change based off of that efficiency because you're pulling that out of the grain itself. So 5% doesn't seem like much, but it becomes a lot, especially if you're trying to replicate the same beer over and over and over and over. I mean, when we first started here, one thing we didn't realize is we're on the front end of Delco's line. I don't know how to put that, but basically,
On the county line there.
yeah. So basically, when they chlorinate the water, it's got to be a certain chlorination at the end. So if you're at the front, you're going to get a lot more chlorine than you are if you're at the end.
Leads me to my next question. Do you build your water?
Not really. So we've tried RO, we've tried chemicals
Okay.
to make sure that we're within. No, basically we test before we brew just to make sure we're not in that chlorate. Delco water is really good as long as they're not running that cycle, which they run I think quarterly. But you know it when they run it.
So before you brew, do you taste the water and go,
Oh, yeah.
we're not brewing today?
Yeah, I mean, and you know it, and it lasts for a couple days. And we didn't know it at first, and we brewed a batch of shenanigans wheat, and it tasted like Band-Aids.
Oh.
And we're like, what in the world happened? Like, we're looking at our notes, we're tracing back, we're like, and then, you know, that led us to then reaching out to Delco, doing some water studies, and, you know, understanding that cycle. So once we understood that, oh, well, our beer tastes like Band-Aids because it was chlorinated way above what it should have been, then that
That'll
helped
kill a beer
us.
real quick.
It does.
Yeah.
It
So,
does.
are you going to venture into doing more ciders and seltzers and stuff like that in the future?
No, too many people do a really nice cider, a really nice seltzer, and a really nice
Bad
sour.
Moon?
Those are our guest taps. Yeah, we keep guest taps on.
Sorry, y'all. You
And
can't
that's
see
why we do it.
Bad Moon, greatest cider house in the world, along with 10 Cap down in Wilmington, Ohio.
10 Cap's pretty good.
Thank you. I don't know that I've been. I need
Oh,
to
you
try
have
it.
to go to 10 Cap.
They're so
Matter of fact,
Okay.
we have a video coming out. We went to 10 Cap. She ran the whole way. Like from the Wilmington sign all the way to 10 Cap.
It's a mile and a half.
I had enough time to set up a camera, film out in front of the theater, do like 6 takes, and then she still had not made it to the cidery. And I called her, I was like, where are you at? She's like, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I was like, this is a stupid idea. You know that? She's like, but I'm for real. I'm doing it. And I'm like, that's terrible. It's a terrible idea.
No, I mean, you burn the calories so you can enjoy the beer.
All I was thinking was cider, 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 cider. Like, I just want to drink right now.
But
Yeah.
we're over that. Like, so you're in the party of like, we don't need to do that because we already have enough of seltzers and cider.
Yeah, I mean, why would I try to do my own when there's so many great breweries already doing it? And I mean, we're not a cider house. You know, we're not. We've tried sours. We've tried to do them, but to do them right, I mean, it takes time, and you got to know your chemistry.
A lot of money.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, we can't barrel sour, so we just don't have the room to barrel sour. So
That was
No,
always
it's
weird. Because Random Precision, like, they bet on that.
Yep.
And that's what killed them.
and they were great at that one ditch. But it's tough
We
to
never got our
survive.
barrel, though.
No?
Like, we did the community barrel. We never got the barrel. Like, they closed down
Right before.
And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, so I mean, and our goal is to have 2 drinks that anybody that walks in here will drink.
I think
So,
you have more
you
than
know, we do our 6 beers, but then, you know, you're a cider person, so we got to make sure we have a cider on tap. Sours, we got to make sure we have the gluten. Yep. But again, so we got to have some of those gluten-free And I've tried to make a gluten-free beer, and it's terrible.
Using rice lager.
Yes. There's a few breweries that have a decent gluten-free lager. Olentangy River, I think it's called Wheaties or something.
I'd be scared to even taste it if it's called Wheaties, to be honest. Like anything with the word wheat, I'm like, no.
I may be wrong. It's been a long time since I tried it. But it's a decent gluten-free beer. But no, for our thing like seltzers, like March 1st, our Astra red cream seltzer or soda, red cream soda seltzer.
Take your mic off and hold it, because I think I know what's going on.
I think it needs to come over here.
I think it's just rubbing on your shirt.
Okay.
I think it's
Is
rubbing
this better?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna try it like that.
We've carried that since day one. We've had Astra since day one, and
Sorry, guys.
you know, I would never try to replicate that because they do it really, really good down in Cincinnati, and people love it when they come in. You know, so I'm just not that I'm not ambitious or I like to try different things, but I also know what I know, and I know I don't need to do cider, seltzers, and sours.
So how do you feel about the cider community being welcomed into the brew community and not the wine community?
Well, they absolutely should be.
Well, the reason
I understand that it's not malt
yeah.
necessarily.
That the wine community hates cider houses. Is it because
Depends on the wine.
is it because of the grape versus the apple and they ferment the same way?
I'm not a wine guy, so I can't appreciate that. But I can tell you, as a brewer, you know, we absolutely need to have a cider on all the time. We need to have a seltzer on all the time. We need to have 1 to 2 sours, just based off of the community. You know, we do 450 North, which is out of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Amazing smoothie sours. Not too tart. They're tart, but they're not sour, like hit you in the back of the jaw sour.
We did their one called the Smoothie XXL.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we have Wild Berry Muffin, which is their slushy light sour right now, which is less thick. You don't have to shake it up and, you know, make sure that all the fruit at the bottom goes up, which is good. And then we have Down East, you know, blackberry cider, which is a traditional fruited cider, which gives you a little bit different, but
So Tanya wants to know: do you guys have wines or dry wines?
Sweet or dry?
I think it's funny. I think it's funny that we just talked about like your opinion on wines.
So we have 1 or 2 dry reds, 1 or 2 whites, and then we'll have a Riesling or Moscato. We have a bubbly, and then usually a fruit like Oliver or something that's just, you know, grape juice fermented into,
It's one of our favorites. Oliver, the sweet red wine.
Yeah. So we always have that in a bottle. So, but we, you know, we do half bottles. What we found is because we're not a big wine, like a lot of breweries aren't, they don't draw a lot of wine enthusiasts. So we were opening a bottle, serving a glass or 2, and then throwing the rest of the bottle out, or having to drink it, which
that was
I know it's rough.
So we went to half bottles, which we found, you know, it's 2 glasses. We sell the half bottle, and we're good. So we're not wasting the wine. We're not, you know, most people who have a glass of wine have 2. So yeah, we've gone to mostly half bottles.
Efficiency would be better for that too. Like you said, so you don't have to throw it away.
Right.
But you have an extensive bourbon line too.
Oh yeah, we're proud of our bourbon. We're not OPA bourbon. I don't know if you've ever been to OPA in Delaware.
No.
My
My nephew has. He's a big bourbon guy.
Yeah, so you got Opa, then you got us, and then you kind of got everybody else. We're a little bit ahead of the bourbon game with the breweries, but yeah, we're not Opa standard. So, I mean, we have a bourbon club. So we have 50 members. Each month, you get the bourbon of the month tasting. So we pick a different bourbon every month. You come in and get that. You get 20% off your bourbon pours. You have your own glass with your name on it. So last year we capped it at 30. This year we're at 60. We capped it at 60. So our bourbon club has been, really kind of one of the highlights as far as growth goes for us. And I think it's because we have the Buffalo Traces, we have the E.H. Taylors, we have the Eagle Rares most of the time, but we don't charge
$1 million in a pizza.
right. We don't charge based on the rarity. We charge all of our bourbons are marked up the same. And if we've got E.H. Taylor barrel proof, it's going to be marked up the same as Sazerac Rye or whatever.
Yeah.
And when it's gone, and we get it back in. But we don't stock our bourbon and price it based off of how hard it is to get. That's just, to me, that's not.
It's kind of like jabbing at it.
It's not that community feel, right? I don't want to come here and be like, oh, wow, they've got, Eagle Rare. Oh, wait, it's $18 a pour? That's basically what the bottle costs. 2 pours that I paid for the bottle.
Well, sadly enough, Eagle Rare, I took my nephew to a certain brewery who had Eagle Rare. They were the only ones in Columbus that had it, if that tells you who it is. Big one out of Athens. $80 a glass.
Nope.
And I literally he was like, that means that bottle has to cost like almost $900 for a glass of bourbon.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not fair.
That's just for a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I paid for that.
1.5 ounce pour.
Yeah, I paid for that 1 ounce pour because it was his birthday and I wanted him to have a good time. And he went like this. That was the most expensive, non-exciting bourbon I've ever had, and it was not worth the $80.
It's good.
Yeah.
It burn. I think it's hot for the proof of it, but yeah, no. Anything you get here, it doesn't matter. We've got Kentucky Owl. We've got Jack Daniel's Sinatra. Obviously, we've got the Buffalo Trace line, but they're all priced the same. And then we've literally had people come in and said, "Is this price right?" And we're like, "Yeah, it's right. When it's gone, it's gone."
So, how do you feel about Ohio bourbons and whiskeys? Long way to go.
Big, no. Pinball, I think. She might have left.
You didn't write together?
No. I've been here all day. Thank you, Liz.
And that's called community right there. That is community.
No, we went to High West. High Banks. High Banks, wow. We still haven't gotten a bottle of High West Midwinter Night's Dram, so that's why they're on my mind. But no, we went to High Banks this week. They're providing our barrel for our anniversary beer this year. And we're talking about doing a barrel pick with them, with our bourbon club.
You should.
I didn't like Ohio bourbon 4 years ago because it was too new.
Yeah, and
it wasn't aged.
They didn't understand what they were doing. They were trying to do it fast, is what I feel.
Well, yeah, because you got to get to the market, right?
Yeah.
Because if not, you're losing money while you're spending the money, but you're not making any of the money.
They also didn't realize, you have to offer other things other than bourbon. Like, you can offer a rum, you can offer a tequila, They just went all in on bourbon.
Their 614 vodka is really good. I mean, it's a solid. middle of the road vodka, and it's made right here. Um, but no, now, like going there 2 days ago to get the barrel for our anniversary beer, and then talk about doing a barrel pick. I mean, again, like us, right? If you were here in 2018
Yeah.
versus 2025, we didn't know what we didn't know in 2018. We've grown, we've learned, you know, we still got a lot to learn, but we're getting better. And that's, Ohio bourbon or whiskey. I
Yeah.
don't think you can call it bourbon in Ohio, right?
Yeah,
It has to be from
yeah,
Kentucky,
Kentucky.
or, yeah. But Ohio whiskey has gotten a lot better. And, Whiskey War. We tried the cigar cask. Fantastic.
That sounds good.
They're batch 3. So they learned us on because I was
I like your vocabulary.
the novice.
They learned
right?
us.
I was the novice. And I'm like, why do you call it a cigar? At the risk of sounding silly, why do you call it a cigar cask? So they explained to us that the wood is from Brazil, and it pairs well with a cigar. It's not necessarily, anything.
Did you
It's not
ask
like
him
a
like
cigar
what
with, like,
cigar? Like, there's so
thrown
many
into
flavors
it.
of cigar.
Well, so like cask 3 that we tried is tropical. So the cigar cask rum, so the barrel had rum in it. The wood is specific to Brazil, which gives it a more tropical taste. So it's weird to say, but at 110 proof, it was super smooth, and you had flavors of coconut and banana in the bourbon, and it had the Kentucky burn, but what you tasted afterwards was paradise. It was coconut, pineapple, and banana, and it's all the wood. It's all based on the wood.
Do you think it's because of the salt water and maybe the trees are holding more sugar content?
They didn't know. So for me to try to, they knew part of the story, but they said, they can get barrels from with the same wood, the same, you know, um, same rum, same everything, but then, batch 1 is completely different than batch 2. And it could be how it was baked, it could be on, its trip over. It could, there are so many different variances to it that, yeah. So they said, like, the first batch I ever got, they put the whiskey in this barrel for 1 day. And they said it was absolutely glorious. And they have not been able to recreate that.
Aww, that's so sad.
I've always heard stories about like it was Hocking Hills Distillery. They were like he started 4 years ago and we aged one for 4 years. It was fantastic, and then we aged another one in the same exact barrel.
Yeah.
And it just was not even close. And I was like, well, what am I drinking? They're like, you're drinking the one that was in the... If you would have drank the first one, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, why don't you just buy a barrel? He's like, no, it doesn't work like that. There's so many different things.
And that's, same with high banks. They're like, we've tried to replicate it, and there's nothing different except apparently the experience of that barrel.
Yeah.
You take things like Jefferson Ocean, right? They're aged at sea, and you can see from their, like, you buy the bottle and it'll tell you this is Voyage 2. And Voyage 2 took them through here, here, and here, and then back. So higher temperatures, more, rougher seas, whatever. But they tell you it's the same bourbon. It just travels around in a ship. They're different, and they taste very different.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, the Metallica
Oh
bourbon.
God.
Blackened.
Yeah, you know, apparently they play Metallica 24/7. You know, and that.
I'll tell you something off camera about that.
Okay.
I still have the bottle too. No bottle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we've got blackened in ourselves, but
Yeah.
that's
There's a whole backstory to that that is just way more hilarious than what they tell you.
there typically is. If you got
You
an
leave everybody
insight,
on a cliffhanger.
No. That has to be that can't be disclosed. That was yeah. I'm lucky enough. I work in an industry for my daytime job that like we do a lot of industrial equipment, so I get to go into these places.
okay.
So sometimes they talk to me and then like you're sitting there going like, oh really? Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
So like that one has a hilarious.
Okay.
But we still have we established why they're called what they're called? The beers.
Grizzly Bird or the
No, the beers.
No, so tell us why you named the bird.
I mean,
the birds.
Shenanigans is
How-
clearly Super Troopers.
Why are they named the way they are named?
because that's how guys talk. I mean, literally. And you know what? I shouldn't say guys. That's how movie people talk. You talk in quotes. Like if I say,
You
Buzz the
motorboat
Tower,
bastard.
yeah, you motorboat son of a, you know where that came from. If I say Buzz the Tower, you know where that came from. If I say Shenanigans, everybody goes, hey Farva,
Yeah.
what's that restaurant down the street with all the stuff hanging on the wall? So, you know, it just, you know, it adds a little bit of when people come in and they get to talk about, oh, you know, oh, the dude, yeah, you know,
This is where I'm gonna take the camera and I'm gonna pan it to the wall.
Oh yeah.
You tell me when.
Go ahead. But I think the greatest thing about that is like when I first came here and like you had Stay Golden Pony Boy.
yeah.
I was like, an Outsiders reference? That's so weird.
It's bi. It has two meanings, and not that the outsiders weren't the one we went with.
And then the dude, like I remember the dude came out, and I was like, oh, I gotta have it because I'm a huge Big Lebowski
Oh yeah, the
fan.
dude abides.
Yeah. And then
Now you just need a white
the
Russian.
bartender,
Right.
it was before the first time we met you, the bartender said, oh, well, the owner is like a big movie guy. And I'm like, I like what he's throwing down, motorboat son of a bitch. Yeah, and
The old sailor, you.
just class 3's clinger, you know.
We've had that. That was one of our one-off stage 3 clinger. So we've done.
That was like, those were my favorite ones. And I'm telling people, I was like, yeah, when you go there and get this, they're like, there's no way. That's the name of the beer. I was like, yes, it is. You have to.
Yeah. So it creates conversation.
Now, you had one that was called Mission from God a long time ago. You had one that was a Mission from God a long time ago.
Are you talking about 5 pound, 6 ounce Sweet Baby Jesus?
Yes. Yes.
Talladega Nights, baby.
Yeah,
That was our Imperial Stout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
It had a Christmas twist to it. So we're like, well, when I like to pray, I like to pray to infant Jesus. You know,
Hey, baby Jesus matters
everybody
too, okay?
everybody gets it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've had a lot of fun. But again, we've done a lot of beers in the past where we were just experimenting, trying different things, and they'll come back.
What I like is like you keep a little bit of tradition, but you also have it with a twist. Because it's like you can drink like a gold ale, okay, but you can't drink a gold ale that stays with you. You know, and that could go either way. It stays with you bad or stays with you good.
Right.
Right. When you drink a gold ale and there's not that bitter at the back and it's not real super dry, those are the best gold ales because it makes you want to go back to it. It makes it feel like it's crushable,
Yeah.
even though it's a
And
different
you can drink
percentage.
something different after it and still taste
Yes.
what you drank after versus still tasting. And again, that's with our IPAs. we don't want to have 130 IBU. Like we don't want to break the record for bitterness in our
Why
IPAs.
not? Why not?
You know, there was a time that was super popular.
You can call that one the Sex Panther. It works 60% of the time.
100% of the time it works 60%. Yep. That was yeah. And I feel like Sex Panther will make an appearance. Definitely one of our more popular ones.
60% of the time.
It works every time. But no, again, it's just and half the fun. So half the beer names that we had, like growing up, in Johnstown, and then when we first opened here, customers started naming our beers. They're like, "Oh, do you have a beer named this?" And we're like, "Nope." But let me write that down, and it'll come out. We were at Firehouse Tavern in Sunbury, and we forget how it went down. But we just asked the bartender. We're like, "What's your favorite movie quote?" And she's like, "You got a baby in a bar." And then we did our milkshake IPA, and it was like, how do you not name your milkshake IPA "Baby in a Bar"?
Yeah.
Milkshake IPA. So just stuff like that. It's fun. It's engaging, right? And with the wall, half the people come in. They're like, "Okay, we got 9 of the 12 or whatever. But tell us, who's this? Or what movie is this from?" And again, they're talking about it for half an hour, and it's engaging.
That goes back to creating an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel that breweries and bars are different. The difference is a brewery you go in and you get an experience. A bar you just go.
You go in there and get plastered or drunk.
Yeah, you have a party.
Yeah, you have to work, yeah.
And then you feel horrible the next day.
Yeah.
Hopefully you go to a brewery, yes.
The next day you go to work and go like, why did I do that?
Probably shouldn't have had that 8%. Or usually that's how I
Let me tell you about that Sex Panther.
Yeah, right.
Well, we are a little past our 1 hour mark, so we do have to wrap it up. Tell them where you guys are located.
We are at 5901 Chandler Court, Westerville, Ohio, 43008. If you know where Gianmarco's is, we're just down the street from them. A lot of people don't go past Gianmarco's, but there is something else down the street for you to come and enjoy.
And that is Grizzly Bird Brewing Co.
I do recommend the Stay Golden, the Jude, and the Frank the Tank. Those are the ones.
That's 3 of the 4, so we'll take it.
The Motor was good, but those were the ones that really, really stood out.
Again, at least 2, and then we'll be okay. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out. I mean, I really enjoyed talking to you guys. Come back anytime. We get the full kitchen going. We'll get you guys fed, and we should have some fun beers at that point. We're moving towards, at least November, we'll have our Bourbon Barrel anniversary beer out. So
Is there going to be a bad motherfucker?
So our anniversary beer is Jalib, which is Scottish for legacy. So not as much fun, but we had to do something, at least one series, right?
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Cheers,
so
guys.
much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And to you guys, we'll see you next Friday. And don't forget to free your mind.
Cheers. Thank you guys so much.
Everybody.
All right, well, my wife's still out.